The best SummerSlam matches. How's it going, my wrestling heroes? There has been just so many great matches over the years. I mean, these ones right here that we're going to get into, these are ones that have really stood out to me. This pay-per-view, this was SummerSlam 2000. This is the beginning of new millennium. Everything was new. Everything was happening, and it was happening quick. They introduced this first time match ever. It was TLC, tables, ladders, and chairs. And each participant, each tag team brought their own special. Dudleys, we know the Dudleys, they love their tables. They love putting people through it. Edge and Christian, they created this whole new thing called the Concerto, where they would each hold a steel chair, and they would bring it together and bash it over their opponent's heads. Now, the Hardy Boys, these guys, man, I mean, especially Jeff, this guy was just an innovator. When it came to high flying, this guy, I mean, it didn't matter whether it was an entrance stage, whether it was a ladder. This man didn't have any problems taking flight. This such a, I mean, everything, it was only 15 minutes long. Believe it or not, this actual match right here was only 15 minutes long, but it felt like it was just, like every single spot that stands out to me, like one was doing one thing after the other after the other. They were just throwing it all, putting everything on the line. These guys did come in as the tag team champions and left as the tag team champions. There was close calls on all three ends to where it was like, man, who's going to win this? But hands down, this is one of my favorite matches for sure. Bryan and John Cena tore the house down at SummerSlam of 2013. These two, man, like the overall build-up to this was just awesome. Like Bryan, he was going in there just saying, dude, doesn't make sense. You're always on the spotlight. You're always the guy with the title. And, you know, no one actually saw this coming, even though we knew that John Cena was going into... He was taking a break. He was suffering from some injuries, and he was going to take some break. But still, regardless, nobody saw that Bryan was going to actually go in there and win the title. And he did. He captured the title. Triple H was a special guest referee for this match. Great match. You got solid. Loved it. The overall match, like from start to finish, these guys threw in a great show. Here's the thing, though. Triple H, he didn't want Bryan in the spotlight. He didn't want Bryan to hold that title, period. There was a certain someone that was holding the Money in the Bank briefcase at the time, and, you know, Evolution. The early days eventually had to come back. He cashed in his Money in the Bank. Triple H gave him a pedigree, and Randy Orton ended up capturing the title from Bryan. But overall, solid, man. Great match. The end of an era. Attitude was ending. Ruthless was getting started. And Rey Mysterio's very first pay-per-view match. Loved it, dude. Kurt Angle. I mean, it's kind of hard to have a tough or a bad match with Kurt Angle. You bring these GOATs. I mean, these ring generals, dude. Both of them. They know what they're doing. They knew what they were doing going into this match. And this, actually, I was really happy when we got this Kurt Angle. I know it's a basic, but when I saw this, that Mattel was putting out this angle, I loved it. This was actually the attire that he wore that night. Rey Mysterio, great high flying. Kurt Angle, technical specialist, back and forth. Rey Mysterio did end up tapping out, but you know what? It still put him into a certain spot in SmackDown as one of the top guys. I mean, the way that he was in there, the way he was moving around with Kurt Angle, it just put him into that high ranks as a top card. Eventually, the man end up capturing the title, but Kurt Angle, he ended up winning by submission. This was actually in the same pay-per-view. I'm telling you, 2002 was a great year in wrestling. There were so many top superstars coming over. There was one returning from long, lengthy injury, Shawn Michaels. Nobody thought that he was ever going to step foot back into the ring. I mean, as an actual in-ring competitor. Yeah, he was still on the sidelines doing a lot of promos, whatnot, but this was his return match. And Triple H, the guy, he was always, he's had a lot of knee issues in the past, even to this day, but he's always been one of those guys that it didn't matter what kind of injury the man was suffering from. He was going to give it his all. And these two, Shawn Michaels, this was a street fight match. Anything went. He was actually wearing like jeans, so this attire is not actually accurate. But regardless, this was epic, dude. Like, these two, Michaels, like, it didn't even look like the man had come from retirement. He looked better then than what he did before. Like, so many good matches this guy has had in the past. And I really do hope that we eventually get one more from him. But Michaels did end up capturing the win. The result of being a Paul Heyman guy. Betrayal Man is always around the corner with this. See, I feel like this was more against CM Punk versus Paul Heyman. Yes, Brock Lesnar was the actual competitor of the match, but it was more of a betrayal game. I'm telling you. Like, that's one thing you got to look out for. I think this upcoming SummerSlam that we're going to see here, you got to watch your back, Lesnar, because this guy, not very trustworthy for sure. But the overall thing to this, like, I'm not sure. It's a tough call. I don't know what I enjoyed most, whether it was the actual buildup of it or was the actual match. I mean, Punk actually almost won. There was so many occasions where the man almost either A, made him tap out, or B, got him with the GTS. But Paul Heyman at the end, yeah, he ended up coming in, interfering, and Brock Lesnar was the new WWE champion. Now, here's the thing, you guys. There is just so many matches in WWE history that come to mind. I mean, right here, these are the top 5 that definitely stand out for sure. And I'm sure we'll have more memories created. I mean, that's the good thing about SummerSlam. It's the biggest party of the year. So you know what's going to go down here. I'm actually pretty excited. I know some may not be, over that whole Roman Reigns versus Lesnar. But when it comes to big time, when it comes to big shows, Lesnar knows what to do. And it might possibly be his last match. Drop it in the comment section, though. Would love to hear your thoughts as to some of the favorite matches that stand out to you. Until next time, everybody.